Starting with the lowest part of the ranking, on the 10th position we have Suleiman Kerimov. Suleiman Kerimov gets most of his fortune from his 76% stake in Russia's biggest gold producer, Polyurs. Kerimov was sanctioned by the US in 2018 for alleged money laundering related to the purchase of villas in France. The EU sanctioned him in March 2022. Suleiman Kerimov appeared in February with a dozen other billionaires alongside President Putin, as Russian tanks crossed into Ukraine. Mikhail Prokhorov is a Russian businessman who made his fortune in the wake of the Soviet Union's collapse by buying shares in formerly state-run corporations. He ran for the Russian presidency in 2012. Much of Prokhorov's fortune stems from the 2008 sale of his stake in metals giant Norilsk Nickel. He sold his last block of shares in UC Rusal 1 month before sanctions were imposed against the company by the US Treasury. Roman Abramovich, who owns stakes in Russian steel giant Evraz and nickel producer Norilsk Nickel, has been sanctioned by the UK, EU, Canada, Australia, and Switzerland. His Chelsea FC was sold for nearly $5 billion in May 2022 to a group led by American billionaire Todd Boehly. He won't get the proceeds. He sold a 73% stake in Russian oil firm Sibneft to state-owned gas titan Gazprom for $13 billion in 2005. He spent more than $1 billion in Russia's Far East Chukotka region, where he was governor, reportedly at Putin's behest, from 2000 to 2008. After his British investor visa expired in 2018, he became an Israeli citizen and, in 2021, a Portuguese citizen. Viktor Vekselberg, a Ukrainian-born aluminium baron, made his first million selling scrap copper from worn-out cables. He later bought several medium-size aluminium smelters and bauxite mines and united them into Sual Holding in 1996. 11 years later, he merged it with billionaire Oleg Deripaska's Russian Aluminium to form UC Rusal. Both were sanctioned by the US in April 2018. A partner of billionaires Mikhail Friedman and Len Blavatnik in oil company TNK-BP, he sold his stake in 2013 to state-owned Rosneft for $7 billion. Because of the sanctions, $1.5 billion he had in US and Swiss banks are frozen. Vekselberg's super yacht Tango was seized by Spanish police and the FBI in Palma de Mallorca in April 2022. Industrialist Andrey Melnichenko founded fertilizer producer Eurochem and coal energy company Suk. The son of a Soviet physicist, Melnichenko dropped out of college when the Soviet Union fell in 1991 to start a chain of currency exchange booths. 2 years later, he founded MDM Bank, which became one of Russia's most successful private banks. Melnichenko's companies, which employ more than 100,000, have invested some $23 billion into fertilizer and coal production over the past 15 years. Melnichenko was sanctioned by the EU in March 2022 along with other Russian billionaires. He called the sanctions absurd and nonsensical and is disputing them. Melnichenko is the owner of 2 Haiti sailing yachts, the Sailing Yacht A and Motor Yacht A. These were both designed by Philippe Starck. Boats International called Sailing Yacht A, the biggest sailing yacht in the world. He owns several houses, including a Villa Altair in Cap d'Antibes and a $12 million penthouse in New York, the Harewood Estate in the UK worth $40 million. On the 5th position comes Ola Sherusminov. He made his first fortune producing plastic bags, a commodity so scarce in the former Soviet Union that people washed and reused them. Usmanov headed Gazprom Invest Holding, a subsidiary of state-run conglomerate Gazprom, from 2000 to 2014. An ex-fencer, Usmanov was the president of the International Fencing Federation until 2022. His wife Irina Vina trained many Russian Olympic medal winners in rhythmic gymnastics. Sherusminov owns 49% of USM, a Russia-based investment group that controls Metloinvest, Russia's largest iron ore producer, and Megafon, a Moscow-based telecommunications company. He controls Kommersant, a Russian newspaper, and has stakes in AliExpress Russia Holding and Ackerman Cement. On the fourth position comes Vladimir Lenin. Lenin is the chairman of Novolipetsk Steel, Russia's largest steel maker. The publicly traded company produced 15.7 million metric tons of crude steel and had $16.2 billion of revenue in 2021. He also owns Freight One, a rail freight operator in Russia, port facilities operator UCL Port, and shipping company VBTH. Lenin started out as an electrical fitter in a coal mine in Siberia and then worked as a steelworker in central Russia. He then managed factories for Trans World Group, a collection of commodities traders with stakes in aluminium smelters. Trans World was later investigated for bank fraud. In 1995, Lenin was reportedly interviewed by Russian police in connection with a local politician's death. He denied wrongdoing. The third position goes to Alexei Mordashov. He is the majority shareholder in steel company Sevastol, which he ran as CEO for 19 years before resigning in 2015. Hit by sanctions in 2022, he immediately transferred ownership of key assets, including shares of leisure company TUI and mining outfit Nordgold. Sevastol sold off 2 U.S. steel plants in 2014, withdrawing from the market at a time of rising tensions between Russia and the West, and turned its focus to its domestic business. The son of mill workers, Mordashov rose to become the finance director of a steel mill. When the plant's elderly director instructed him to acquire shares to keep them from an outsider, Mordashov kept most of them for himself. Almost on the top, in the second position we have Leonid Mikhelson. He is the founder and chairman of natural gas producer Novatek. In 2017 he bought a 17% stake in petrochemical company Siber from Kirill Chamalov, Putin's reported former son-in-law, increasing his stake to 48%. In 2021 Siber merged with Taif Group, with extensive assets in the Republic of Tatarstan. Among Taif's owners are the sons of Tatarstan's first president. His partner in both Novatek and Siber is sanctioned oligarch Gennady Timchenko, who is said to have close ties to President Vladimir Putin. Mikhelson began his career as a foreman for a construction company building a gas pipeline in Russia's Tyumen region. And the winner, the title of the richest Russian oligarch, lands on Vladimir Potanin. Potanin acquired a stake in Norilsk Nickel during Russia's privatization in 1995. Today he owns just over a third of the company. Potanin served as deputy prime minister under Boris Yeltsin and maintains ties with President Vladimir Putin. Potanin spent $2.5 billion developing Roza-Kuta, a ski resort, snowboard park and freestyle skiing center for the 2014 Olympics. He still has a stake in it. In February 2021 Norilsk Nickel was fined $2 billion for the huge oil spill in Arctic. The company disputed the figure, estimating the cost was only $300 million. Following Russia's attack on Ukraine, he stepped down from the board of the Guggenheim Museum Foundation, on which he served for 2 decades. In May 2021, the UK Court of Appeal overturned a lower court decision and allowed Potanin's ex-wife Natalia to bring her $6 billion divorce claim in London.